Our mandate requires us to crowd in private sector finance. It's inconceivable that the public sector can finance everything alone. We've been very well capitalised with £22 billion, but we need much more than this by 2030 if we're going to achieve net zero. So we need to find ways to facilitate private sector investment through appropriate structuring or providing support to encourage risk-taking, particularly for the more nascent, financially untested sectors. And it's worth emphasising that we're not here to compete with the private sector. We want to work with other capital providers to solve financing problems. We can cornerstone a transaction or even underwrite it. That gives enormous confidence to the market that we're there from the very beginning. More simplistically, we can fill gaps in a debt raise or an equity raise. We can structure to mitigate risks in transactions, and I think you'll see us doing quite a lot of this in the near future, either through, for example, using a mezzanine tranche or particularly using guarantees. Sometimes the market just won't have the enthusiasm for a transaction, and in that case, we'll go it alone and lend money on our own, but we will do that with the intention of accelerating development to the point where others are comfortable. These approaches, I think, work equally well, whether it's debt, whether it's a guarantee, or whether it's equity.
The problems we are looking to solve are typical of nascent sectors. Banks have a certain degree of willingness to lend, but not at scale until sector knowledge deepens and risks are better understood. In June, we announced a £50 million commitment to the Port of Tyne's regeneration and expansion plans. We know that one of the key barriers to port financing is the lack of visibility ports have over the utilisation of their infrastructure at the point of investment. By financing the Port of Tyne's clean energy park alongside public and private finance, we share in the risks, with the infrastructure itself catalysing further investment into renewables. In July, we provided £45 million of senior debt to GridServe to advance the rollout of EV charging infrastructure. The transition to EVs requires a comprehensive UK-wide EV charging network. Yet, many charge point operators have a limited track record. This makes commercial viability of upfront capital expenditure unclear. Providing debt finance earlier in the build-out phase helps charge point operators accelerate the pace of rollout and in turn increases the uptake of EVs in the community.
So if there's an infrastructure transaction where the markets are nervous about policy risk, merchant risk, particularly about early technology, or maybe about scale, that's the sort of problem that we're here to address.